Good morning. My name is Shannon. I also go by Shay. And today we're going to talk about Jupiter. I know that I've been doing this series on Saturn, but Saturn has kind of worn me out. If you saw the last Saturn video, you know why. So we're going to talk about Jupiter. And it's currently 2024, so we're going to talk about Jupiter in Gemini. This is going to be happening until mid 2025. And then Jupiter will be going into Cancer. So I haven't talked really about Jupiter yet. And for those of you who don't know, this is a impulse series that I've started about a lot of the major planets over the next 20 years. It's more for my benefit than, but I'm also hoping that it'll help some other people be prepared for things that are coming up. So, Jupiter, for those of you who don't know or don't know astrology, don't, I'm assuming if you're looking into astrology, you know a lot about it. But there are some people that just, what is this? So, Jupiter in astrology is about expansion and luck, and like if you're going to communicate to a large audience, so it's public speaking, it's politics to an extent, definitely higher education and social structures, like a lot of the big major buildings, and not so much business as it is like architecture and building. It's definitely about luck, though. Jupiter is the luckiest, like, things just come up and happen. And Jupiter is also, um, when something is in Jupiter, it's like just gonna multiply and just grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then look at the kitty. She's so cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. So that's Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius. However, it is currently in Gemini, which is the opposite of Sagittarius. But this is still a good place for Jupiter to be, in my opinion, even though it can be back and forth. It's better than in Taurus because Jupiter and Taurus people don't know when to shut the up. Oh my God. And they rule the. That's not where we're at right now. We're at Jupiter and Gemini. And also, for those of you who don't know, I have severe ADHD and PTSD and anxiety. So a lot of these videos, I know that I bounce a lot, like I'm doing right now. I'm not talking about Jupiter and Gemini. I'm talking about something else entirely. You're gonna have to bear with me. I have to bear with myself every day. So thank you for supporting me in doing this, because going around that is like a daily problem and really difficult to do. Jupiter in Gemini is big back and forth. It's a lot of over talking, not talking at all, and being over pushy and over interested, and then complete disinterest. And it's like the ultimate. You ever watch those science videos where they pull the ball back and then the ball goes back and forth and they like clack each other? It's some physics experiment thing. That's Jupiter and Gemini, where it's just one day, the next day, one day, the next day, and it's it can be overwhelming to, especially to people that have Jupiter in like calmer placements, or other planets that aren't as, like, if you have a really stable chart, this time period is just way kicking your butt. But if you have, at the same token though, those type of people should be able to handle the Jupiter and Gemini doing the extreme motions. So it really depends on who you are as a person, how this is really going to affect you. Jupiter and Gemini is very mental. It's air, so it's just constantly in the thoughts in the head and the mind. At some point, I believe it's in December, there's going to be a square between Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. That's kind of heavy because it's so, like, it's under the radar, but because it's Jupiter, it's coming up to the surface. But because it's Saturn in Pisces, it's emotional. And then Jupiter in Gemini is, why don't you just get it? And then Saturn in Pisces is like, I'm sorry. And then Jupiter in Gemini doesn't really apologize. They're like, oh, I hurt your feelings. And they just think about how they fucked up. And then Saturn in Pisces has to, like, take a step back from reeling inside, and then you're beating yourself up emotionally because mentally you're messing with your own. It's like a whole day. It's about a day or so, maybe like a week, where that's like a really big thing, where it's like a lot of, it almost seems like really family sibling drama. Gemini, for those of you who don't know, is the sign of siblings, and they're the twins of the zodiac. They're children. They have a lot of thoughts, they have a lot of questions, they have a lot of mental energy, and they rule like the shoulder blades, somewhat the arms, not really the hands. Hands and feet are more of a Pisces thing, but because Gemini is the dual, it can also be the hands, the arms, the shoulder blades. It's not so much your neck, that's more of a Taurus thing, like the neck in this, but like the collarbones and anything that is upper body dual, not the breasts. That's more Cancer, Leo, Scorpio. Um, Anywho, the health issues that usually come with Jupiter in Gemini, um, a lot of mental health, honestly, because you're so in your head and so wrapped up and so like you don't know how to take a breath, but at the same time, like all you're doing is breathing. It can be frustrating for a lot of people. And at the same token, it's it's not bad, but it's obviously not in the best of places. So it leaves in 2025 and doesn't retrograde to come back. So the next video I'm going to talk about is going to be Jupiter and Cancer. I will revisit the Saturn episodes when I'm capable. That last episode about Saturn really got me. And I'm still a little upset over it. So it's going to be a while before I come back to Saturn. That's why I just went ahead and hopped on Jupiter. And we're just going to keep it moving because yeah. But Jupiter in Gemini is definitely mental, in the head, and really deep thoughts, fleeting deep thoughts that change constantly. Like, I've been planning this wedding, which, please, fun, help. And I have been constantly changing my mind and going back and forth, back and forth, back, and I have no idea. And I'm going to start blaming Jupiter and Gemini because I cannot for the life of me make up my mind. And I know a lot of you are struggling with that too, as far as being able to make up your mind. At this time, Jupiter and Cancer, when it goes in there, it's going to be more about how can I expand emotionally with my family and da-da-da, but we'll get to that in another video. My time is up. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out, fam. Love.